Thank you very much.
Hello. My name is Koosil-ja. I'm a choreographer, dance artist. I am at DTW, Dance Theater Workshop in Chelsea, New York, with Marlon. And I get to talk about my piece that opens tonight.
Yes, tell us a little bit more about this piece. That it has like this really long name, and also and also what is what has been your investigation for this piece?
Okay, the piece called Blocks of Continuality / Body Image and Algorithm. The title represents really the points that we are actually working with to experiment what it is to create new means of collaboration and new means of body that digitally networked with other image of body.
Yes, for example.
The work has 3 parts. And part 1 is movement research. And in this section, dancers, there are 3 dancers. They are trained to use video sources that I prepared to create the movement that they have never danced before. And meaning that footage are prepared in such a way that typical postmodern trained dancer maybe most likely didn't dance that in recent years. Such like a traditional dance, or even really not about typical dance sources such as various human bodies that are posing for other product.
Like
such
fashion,
like advertisement.
Images,
Any advertisement that I walked around the city to collect at the subway platforms, or while I was waiting for a doctor, and the doctor's office has those magazines. After organizing such a videotape and then clips, they started to kind of removed from this century or the region that they were originated, and became something to look at. Okay, knee is high, or how they distribute the weight to the ground, or what is the relationship with the shoulder and then pelvis. Became more those attribution became kind of peeled out, and then we were started to see more anatomy of the movement. And that's when but that only happened because when I looked at the dancer copying these advertisements and mixing with several different traditional dance.
Yeah, because they are presented with the several sources at the same time, simultaneously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I could not ever think any movement just looking at the source videos, but by demonstrated by the dancers and seeing such an image and such a practice in the space, I started to see, this is really about this articulation. This sources allow them to do this particular articulation. They became more details and timing and more abstract. I needed to seek a way that it's not the set movement. Rather, they need to create each time they rehearse or perform. Part 2 is the technical break / calibration, basically preparing technology for part 3. And in part 3 it's called slam. That is, in that part 3, audience would see how dancers' body and movement is connecting, networked with the images, the avatars, and environment in the 3D video. And that's the experiment of how the body or bodies can be networked.
You mean connected with the, in this
So
case,
there is
interface?
a body
Yeah.
there's a bodies, dancers are in the real space, and there is a technology that mediates and allow the movement to send the data in a very specific way.
You're using Wii
remote.
Wii remotes, and they're
And
using two. Each dancer is having two Wii remotes. Or?
Two, and then somewhere is nunchuck, so there's three devices hooked up on their body and assigned to different tasks and programming.
Within the 3D worlds.
In the part 3, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And but in the 3D world.
Yes. So some nunchuck, some data goes to control light. Some data controls camera move. Some data controls avatar's head, speed of running, speed of walking, speed of getting up, or dancer's voice changes the color of the skin of the avatar. So that itself is testing our perception to those attributions that determines what we are, who we are. The music for part 3 is generated by the brainwave of the musician Jeff, who plays guitar and his effects for part 1, the movement research section. So for part 3, he meditate. He sit on the stage, meditate, and we take his internal action, which is his brain activity, that now it is so calm that we can detect the rhythm of the alpha wave. Alpha wave can be only detected with our technology limit when the brain is calm. And with the alpha wave, we programmed specifically that when in a certain motion that triggers the kinetic action that taps the wall of the DTW, just like the pedal hits the bass drum, it taps. And that is also an experimentation of using technology to externalize what it is otherwise internal function of the body. First of all, nothing is arbitrarily done, everything done with the reasons. And I feel that everything is answered and explained on the stage. My work has a so very different from the Worcester group.
Yeah.
And I don't tell a story. What I have borrowed is that their ways of using video source for the actor. But what I do is to create the movement, not about the psychology of the character. So my approach is abstract. Their approach is whatever they do, and I think they are theater people. And I am a dance artist, and my thing is to create abstract work. So that's why they perceive, then they render. Perceive, recognize, and render. They do that constantly.
Yeah, I love that you're using the rendering in the body. You know,
that's what they do.
They do.
After all, it's all image, right? This is its own stage laboratory. And we are testing your perception, your experience, and then and exactly the same thing with mine. My perception, and then my experience. That's a question about the collaboration. And then maybe you would say the question about the role of a choreographer. That I have arrived to a place that I cannot no longer satisfy with making work with what I know. And I need to go out of myself, my life, my history, and search beyond what I know.